everybody, it's been a long while since I made a video, even after I told you guys I would make another video very soon, because my last one was kind of a cliffhanger. Um, but I'm a busy person, and I think everybody's a busy person, and therefore you guys should understand that. I wanted to really quickly, before I tell you the story that I started before I stopped, and kind of elaborate on a couple of things that I said in my last video about voices and the lack of activity going on in my place. And real quick, I'm going to show you, it says psychology, which is kind of ironic, but this is right here the journal that I put all my experiences in, because even the most terrifying experience in the entire world that I've ever experienced, I will forget the details of, because I have such a terrible memory, and I don't know why I would forget really important things, but I forget even really important things. So of course, even the minor things are just, they're gone. And I was just going through this because I was going to tell you the major story I was actually going to do this video for, and I'm looking through it and I'm like, well, crap. Apparently things have happened in the beginning of May that I just completely forgot about. So I wanted to go over that real quick with you guys because I knew I was missing out on telling you guys something about the voices, and I did actually know about one of those, and I did write those down, and that actually did not involve me, which makes me really happy. That actually it happened to David. And David, even though he experienced this, still doesn't believe that it could be something else besides, I don't know, whatever stupid excuse he has in his head. Doesn't make no sense. But, okay, so this happened on the 2nd of May. It was in the afternoon. I actually don't know what day this was, so I don't know if we were working together, cleaning, or if we just actually, once in a while, we actually get a day off and we could spend the day together. It was either one of those two events, because we were both together that day and we were out. So we were probably cleaning and then we did something else. And we came home around the afternoon time. And I'm in the house first. I get in first and I'm changing because of whatever reason. So I'm in the bedroom and he's following in shortly behind me, but you know, a good distance. He's like a couple of minutes behind me. And he starts waking out and goes, "Are you seriously doing this already?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm getting dressed. What do you mean?" And he goes, "Are you really playing your videos right now?" Because he thinks that at the second I walk into the house, I'm going to grab my laptop and I'm going to put it on YouTube and I'm going to start playing videos. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything. I'm getting naked." And he goes, "Oh, I swear I heard voices. The second I walk in through the door, there was voices. I thought you had your video playing or the TV was on." And no, there is nothing on. I was busy changing. But he swears up and down that's what he heard. And I was like, I did not tell him at this point that I have been hearing voices, because then it could have actually started an argument. So I just kind of made fun of him and then blew it off. And that was that. Let me see what else I have going on here. May 3rd and 4th, I did not even understand my own handwriting at that point. Okay, but on May 3rd or the 4th, because I obviously didn't write this down when it actually happened, I wrote it down later, it appears, I can't even remember this, thank God I write it, but it appears, according to my journal entry, that I was alone in the house, and I was sitting in the bedroom, because that is where the only TV is at, because that's where the cable or the satellite is hooked up to. So that's the only place I can watch TV and feel safe, I guess. And I was alone watching TV, laying in bed, completely by myself, obviously a day off, and David is working, and I'm hearing unusual bumps, kind of like in the beginning where I started to make videos again in this place, and I'm talking about hearing unusual bumps in this room that I'm currently in, the study room where things first started happening. I guess it starting to happen kind of like anywhere I'm hanging out at. It's understanding that I'm relocating myself. And it even got to the point where most of the bumps were going on in the bathroom. I do remember this part. It was in the bathroom. And it sounded like somebody was stepping into the shower, because it's like one of those cheap plasticky type of stand-in showers when you step in it and it like really creaks. It was exactly like that noise, like you stepped into it. There was enough weight for it to creak, and that does not happen normally. You have to step into it. That's the only time I've ever experienced that noise. I think this was out today. Another time when David actually got home, I was in the living room. I don't know why I'm in the living room. And David is asleep. He's probably being an asshole. That's probably why I was in the living room. And something started to walk into the kitchen. And it says here, I ignored both encounters. Okay, so there's that one. All right. This happened on May 8th between 1 and 3 p.m. David was being a jerk because he's always a jerk when he is sick. So he is sleeping in the bedroom, and I'm hanging out in the study, doing my own thing, encouraging him to sleep off his assholeness and get better soon. And I'm just in here watching YouTube videos. I don't really remember what I was watching, but I start to hear the usual creepy noises that I hear when I'm sitting in here. You know, stuff is going on outside the room, and he's fast asleep. He's not moving. He's like dead, and it sounds like someone's walking around and moving our linen bags, because we keep our linen bags in the other room, and I think there was one in the hallway at that time for his parents' cleaning business. And I even hear wheezing or a heaving noise, like a really raspy, hard to breathe type of noise. And that's when I actually start to figure that, oh, maybe it's David. So I get up and I check, and he's still asleep. And so I come back in here, and I'm watching YouTube videos again, and then I start hearing the exact same noises again, but this time, David is awake. So, I don't know. So apparently, that is everything that has been going on in the beginning of May that I just totally forgot all about, and that's why I write it in my journal, because I will forget it. Alright, now this is the story that I actually wanted to make a video for you guys today. This is the cliffhanger story from my last video. That sounded really southern. Anyways, so I was actually currently working a very early morning shift. I was working in the bakery, which means I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm the only one awake. And I leave around, no, I have to be at work at 6, so obviously I leave around 5:30. And so I'm on the road at 5:30 because it's like a really short drive to work where I live. And I'm just driving. It's a completely clear day. Obviously, the sun is not out yet, but it's not foggy. It's clear. I can see because of my headlights and crap like that. I am the only person on the road by myself. I don't have any music on. I don't have any distractions because, like I said, it's a really short drive, and sometimes I don't even bother putting on music for such a short drive. And I'm used to fog. I live in Florida, so unexpected, bizarre weather phenomenon is actually very common and doesn't really wake me out. Like I've gone through, for example, I can be driving down the road, cross a bridge, and it suddenly be densely foggy. And then after you clear the bridge, you know, the fog is gone. And I understand that because I live in Florida and that type of stuff is normal, and I understand what's going on. There's nothing paranormal about that. But I am like a minute away from pulling into the parking lot of where I work at, and I'm driving, going the speed limit, and then all of a sudden, dead center in the middle of my lane out of completely nowhere, this misty, weird, almost foggy type of thing, but only in one spot, just one spot in the center of the road in my lane, just evaporates there. Just like 2 seconds. And it has these 3, I guess from where I was at the time, it looked like, you know, the size of my fist. There you go. The size of my fist. Orbs or balls of light in the misty, shadowy, smoky, whatever it was. I do not know what it was. And when it popped out of nowhere, I literally thought it was, at first, an animal, and I tried to stop, and I could not stop in time, and I went right through it, and I was like, oh my god, I just hit something. So I look in my review mirror, and I see nothing. So I'm shaken up, but I keep driving because, you know, my parking lot turn is like literally 2 seconds now. And so I turn, I park my car, I get out real quick, and I check my car out to see if there's any marks, if I hit anything, if there's any evidence that I hit anything. And my car is completely fine. There's no dents, there's no scratches, there's no body parts. So I'm like, what just happened? Why was it just completely out of nowhere? And I don't know why I would have seen that. So I didn't tell anybody about it for a couple of days because I didn't know how to go about that, how to ask people, oh, is there like something with the road? And the people look at me like I'm retarded. So I did eventually talk to my mother-in-law about it, and I told her about it, and I asked her, like, have you ever experienced anything on this road or any of the roads on here? Because I don't know, she's lived here longer than I have. I mean, I've lived in this immediate area for a long time, but not actually here. So I asked her about it, and she says, no, I've never actually experienced anything, but I did hear. And then she tells me a story about basically the neighborhood right behind where I work at. There was like these rumors that they were having trouble getting building permits, and it was like Indian territory, and like they didn't want them to build houses there and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I've never heard anything about that. So I went online, I went on the World Wide Web, and I start to look for anything about this. I looked for Indian stuff in the area. I couldn't find any news clippings. Like, I was looking at newspaper clippings. I was looking for news videos of anything like that. I was looking at court records because, you know, you would think there'd be court records or anything like that. I couldn't find anything. I even went to our local website and went back a couple of years. It was like 2008 where apparently this was going on. So I went back to that time, and I was looking through the forum feed of all our locals, because our locals talk about everything. I mean, even the most stupid crap on our local website. And they didn't say anything about it. But eventually I did find a court official document about them talking about building permits, and it had nothing to do with Indians. And it didn't say anything about any sort of Indian, Native American issue at all. So I did eventually find another piece of information somewhere else that had a really brief history of the place. For like, I guess people will know about it when they try to buy houses there. You know, it comes like with a little brief history of the place. And it even went into detail real quick about the owners, like the people who owned the land beforehand. Like it was, first it was government, and then this really big building corporation, corporate, whatever it is, bought the place out, and they were going to build houses there and make it a really big, awesome place. And I don't know, something happened, and I guess they didn't pay for building permits, so it's like they eventually sold it off to another company, and they sold it off for something really, really cheap. They lost a lot of money selling it, so that makes me suspicious as to why they sold it really quickly. I couldn't find anything to go into details about that, but that's everything that I found about it, and it had nothing to do with Native Americans. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. And so then maybe I was thinking, you know, I live in a tiny, tiny beach community, but we have a lot of tourists. We have so many tourists. Our community is this big. And the amount of people that decide to come and visit us during the summer, it happens to be like this big. It's huge. It's too many people in a tiny, tiny spot, and they love to ride their bikes. And they love to just ignore the laws when they're riding their bikes or actually doing anything. So we actually have a lot of accidents. In fact, last night we had an accident of someone who doesn't know how to back out in the flipping parking lot. But we have a lot of accidents in this area, and we actually have a couple of deaths every year. And so I was thinking maybe that could have been it. Maybe it was some, no offense, some stupid tourist ghost who still didn't learn their damn lesson and just, I don't know, walked down in front of me in their ghost form or in their ghost bike. I don't know. I kind of think that's what it is. because I don't know what else it could have been. It wasn't normal. And now I'm actually at the point where I'm rambling. And I'm really sorry about that, guys. But that was the story that I wanted to tell you, and has taken me a very long time, basically almost 2 months, to tell you guys about it, because I didn't know what could have caused it. I still really don't know what could have caused it, but that's what I think is the explanation. If you guys have any other opinions that aren't stupid, you guys can share that with me. I really don't mind, and if I think it's stupid, then I just won't say anything. But I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys for listening, and if anything happens and I actually remember about it, then I will make another video and I will share that with you guys. But as of right now, nothing has happened. I mean, I even looked in my journal and nothing has happened since like the last thing that I told you guys, so apparently nothing has happened. That's so sad I can't remember anything. Oh well. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.